Hello, I'm on episode number 367 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be Raw for week 3 of May 2023. It's the first show since Judgment Day. That doesn't matter because it's Raw. Actually, no, it does. That's a lie because we saw the crowning of new women's tag team champions who we'll see on this show tonight. So it does technically kind of matter what happened on that SmackDown branded show for Raw. But last week's show was big and eventful. We found out the full team for War Games will be Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Adam Cole, and Drew McIntyre taking on Planet Jarrett. And we've set up a lot of good matches for this week, including the main event, because I trust this feud and match to deliver in the main event spot will be between one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, Zergus the Mighty, and Ricochet of the Cyclone. Among other matches, Roxy Perez and AJ against Toxic Attraction was one of them, and a whole lot more. Without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. Drew McIntyre opens up the show, and he goes, "So, I'm the one out here opening the show tonight. I guess, what do you want to talk about?" It's like, so, since WrestleMania, I've been a little bit off-world. I've been a little bit absent, a little bit AFK. There's a reason for that. Because going into WrestleMania, and I had this thing with Bray Wyatt. I didn't know what Bray Wyatt was doing, but once I knew that I'd put him down, I did put him down, and he's now back, apparently. And good luck to him and whoever's trying to deal with his bullshit, because it ain't me anymore. I had to sit back, I had to think, what's my purpose here on Raw now? I see still as the franchise player, me and Bianca holding it down. I need to make an impact. And what better way to make an impact than being in War Games? Because you see, War Games, I may have had issues with some of the people in this match, AJ, Finn, but I respect the hell out of Cody Rhodes. And me and him, former tag team champions together, in case you don't remember. So, what a way to round out this team than with Drew McIntyre. And now, I'm primed and I'm ready for war, baby. And Jeff Jarrett and his gang of bag-getting losers won't know what hit him when old Big D steps into that cage. Out comes the rest of the whole of Planet Jarrett. And it's all 5 of them and just Drew in the ring. And Drew, Jeff is like, come on, bring it on, I'll take you all on. And Jeff's like, whoa, relax, Drew, no. Not tonight, we're not going to get you tonight. I thought I'd come out here and, see you eye to eye. You see, me and Drew, we go way back, back in the old days. You're somebody that I would want to sort of strap the racket on back in, the other company. Dan Orlando, you know what I'm talking. But you see, why should you trust a guy like Cody Rhodes? You see, Cody Rhodes is the WWE champion. Isn't that what you want to be, Drew? Don't you, as the franchise player here on Raw, want to be the WWE champion? You're going to sit there and you're going to pretend like you're Cody's best friend and you have all this respect in the world for Cody. I know what you want. You're just coming back to get closer to that championship. And you can try and throw Cody off the scent. You can try and throw Finn, AJ, even Adam Cole off the scent. But you can't get bullshit past old Double J. Okay, I know bullshit. I know Carney when I see Carney. And you, Drew McIntyre, are a Carney. And Drew goes, well, that's a lot of big words. Why don't you come, one of your boys come in here and back him up? And Cameron Grimes, that's what he goes, well, let me tell you, Drew. You may think that you've got what it takes to be the big man around here on Raw. Well, I say that ain't nothing, because your success is determined by your bank balance and your bank numbers, and ain't nobody on Raw's bank number higher than Cameron Grimes. So if it's a match you want, let's make it official right now, me and you, and I'm gonna take you straight to the moon. So there's the opening match. Cameron Grimes against Drew McIntyre. 79. We'll take that. Grimes got 60. Oh, they don't click. Okay. Yeah, Drew Claymore's in 11:41. 66 for Cameron Grimes. 85 for Drew McIntyre. And yeah, Drew, not a good look for old Planet Jarrett here with Cameron Grimes being Claymored into oblivion. That's their sugar man, for lack of a better term. That's the man who funds their investments. And he just got his head kicked off heading into War Games. But it's fine, because after the match, all of Planet Jarrett are going to get into the ring, try and get their heat back, because they are heels. They beat him up. Imagine the Good Brothers hold Drew up. Double J gets to smack him with his guitar, then outrush Finn and AJ. They fight him off. They fight off the Good Brothers. And then Drew tries to fight back against Jeff Jarrett, but Corbin's in. 2-on-1 on Jarrett and Corbin. Wrestling has more than one royal family. Adrenaline in my soul. Outrushes Cody. Cody cutter to Corbin. Claymore to Jeff. And then Cameron Grimes tries to run in and take him down. And then I imagine Cody sidesteps him as he goes for the cave-in. And then he just falls straight into a headbutt from Drew. And gets all groggy and goes to the outside. And they stagger up the ramp. The babyfaces stand tall. Despite being outnumbered. But, they don't have Adam Cole here tonight, but they didn't need him, so. We then see a recap of last week. We see a recap of Gunther versus Montez Ford. And, Tez getting a round of applause for what he bought while he's been pulled out from the ring by Bianca. And we then cut to a clip from, I imagine it'd be, on Raw Talk or, a social media thing after that. Bianca checking up on Tez when Ichiban walk in. And Suzuki and Shinsuke laugh at him this guy thinks he's tough. He couldn't handle strong style. Bianca goes, why don't you back your ass away from my man while he's feeling like this? Okay, now go away. Now, I'm a franchise around here. I can whip both your asses at the same time. No doubt about that. And then Aoi would step in front of Bianca. And she's like, why don't you try me? She's like, oh, feisty, girl. Well, I just saw you lose twice. You can blame Alexa all you want, but I'm ready to whoop your ass. So how about next week, you and one of these men, me and my man, 2-on-2 mixed tag match here on Raw. And then it's Shinsuke and Aoi sort of look at each other and nod their heads. And we'll see you there. And then we get the graphic that match is later on tonight. It's going to be Bianca and Montez Ford against Ichiban's Aoi Maikawa and Shinsuke Nakamura. But first, Kathy Kelly's backstage. She's like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guests. They are the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. And they walk into frame. It's like, girls, why don't you, last night at Judgment Day on the SmackDown main event, you won these championships for the first time in your career, your first championship gold between you. How are you feeling? And it's like, obviously, we're over the moon, When we came here to Raw, it was as Alexa's security, to watch the back of the general manager. Nobody really expected us to even get into the ring. That wasn't our role here. And to see how far we've come together as a team over the last year, it's surreal, really. And I know everybody says this when they become a champion, but I'm not going to take this for granted. I'm going to look at this championship. I'm going to remember it. I'm going to take in this moment because I know who knows how long it could last. And as long as it does last, I can promise we're going to give 100% in every single defense we make of these championships. Then in walk Otis and Brooks Jensen. It's like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, pardon my friend Otis. Congratulations, girls. You two look great with those championships. But what I was thinking is, you said you want to be a fighting champion. You want to prove that you are the tag team champions here in WWE. Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and try defending those championships, say tonight, say right now, against our girls, the J-Flow. And Ivy and they tend to sort of look at each other, smile and go, you call them your girls. I'm not really sure how Mackie would feel about that, based on what I saw last week, but sure, we're ready to fight, let's go. And then they head out to the ring for a tag team title defense. Tatum Paxley and Ivy Nile against two members of J-Flow. I can't remember which two. Tam and Marika. Okay, that's fine. And yeah, they make the defense because they're not dropping the belts after one day. So J-Flow did get that title match they wanted last week, but they don't come up victorious in it because Ivy Nile submits Marika in 12 minutes and 4 seconds. So he turns number 1 of the women's tag team titles. 58 for Ivy, 61 for Tatum, 75 for Tam, and a 68 for Marika. And that's, I've just taken in, that's a 77 based on those ratings. Thanks Tam for all you did in this match to make it competent. We then see, we then cut to the Titus World Records studio. And he's like, right, we're here. Say his name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Now, Joe, you remember the deal from last week, okay? Truth, he wants his baby back. And we struck a deal that we get you a deal with Titus World Records. for a hit collaboration song, you'd let him get the baby back. He goes, yes, sir, I stand by that deal, you know. RKC already went platinum, okay? And I'm sure that'll be on your album, but what's another one? I've written a great song here. It's all about my championship and my relationship with Truth and how I'm going to give the title up. It goes great into the booth. And then obviously we cut to the booth and we see Hendry in there singing, but like we can't hear him. We don't want to spoil what the song sounds like. It's like, dog, is he any good? Tyson goes, well, he's doing great, but something don't feel right. Then Joe Hendry comes out. He goes, what do you think? He went, Joe, that was great, and I'm sure we're going to use the song, but this doesn't feel like right for us. Just like, what do you mean? That's like, you're so good as an independent artist that I would be remiss if I tried to sign you up to Titus World Records, because it would merely halt your progress and your creativity, so to speak, because the contents of some of your songs were not really allowing that here on Titus World Records. Joe goes, well, but that was the deal, you know, you don't get me, you don't get my championship. And Joe Hendry walks out, and Truth goes, oh, my baby, Titus, what'd you do? Because relax, Truth, we'll get your baby back for you. But I've got a better idea. You see, Titus World Records is open for expansion, but Joe Hendry, he weren't that guy. But next week, we'll find that guy or gal who'll be the next star of Titus World Records when we host the second annual Titus World Records Factor. It's like, what's that, mate? He's like, we're going to bring people in from across the roster and they're going to audition. You know, remember the last time when Joe Gacy came here? It's like, yeah. And what if he comes back, mate? It's like, I think he'll have more important things to do this time, but we are looking for our new member, and it's sadly not Joe Hendry. And Truth will get your baby back, but this was an enlightening experience for all of us here at Titus World Records today. Then cut backstage. Cody, Drew, AJ, and Finn are like walking through the hallway together, and then they're talking about how they thought they had the upper hand on us, 5-on-1, but we managed to come out on top. He's like, whoa, stop. Then we see Adam Cole in the Paragon. It's like, boys, where were you at? We just got here and like we were looking around for you, but we couldn't find you anywhere. Where have you been? Cody goes, well, we've been out to the ring already. Our business is done for tonight. We took care of Planet Jared and all those. 4-on-5, actually, we were actually outnumbered. We still came out on top. It would have been helpful if we had a fifth member of our team. Goes, yeah, I know, it's my bad. My bad, Cody. Listen, look. I know I've got your back, You can trust me, okay? I'm not like that son of a bitch Kevin Owens who betrays all of his friends, okay? I love my friends. See? I'd never betray these guys. I'd never betray you because, for life and all that. And Cody sort of looks at him all like confused. And he goes, you don't seem to be believing me. How can I convince you, Cody, that my heart's in the game here? I'm Mr. War Games. Cody goes, you know what? You're good. And he just walks off. And I'm Cole just like, what the hell, man? Come on. Come on. It was an honest mistake. Now then cut back to the ring. Out comes the Queen, Woo. And she takes a microphone. And she says, well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got some heartbreaking, devastating news for you. It turns out, last week, my former friend, my former protege, Danny Jordan, she suffered a bad injury. And, as we all know, she was set to face off with me at Starrcade for my championship, but it appears now that after the devastating attack from Rhea Ripley, she might not make it. And honestly, this is just as heartbreaking for me as it is for you, because you see, Starrcade is an event synonymous with the Flair name, and I'd love to defend my championship on that show, but I can't. She's hurt. She's not gonna be here. So, what do you want me to do? Then Danny Jordan comes out. And he's like, no. Are you okay? Are you good? Like, yes, okay. I hurt my knee last week against Rhea Ripley, which locked me into that what the fuck is the move called? The fucking prism trap, whatever it is. The one where she grabs the legs, that move. And yes, it hurt my knee, but I mean, I'm still good to go for Starrcade, you know. Like, who gave you this information? It's like, yeah, I see you have a doctor's note, and it says here that you can't compete at Starrcade, sorry. Jordan goes, well, let me see the note. Like, that's fabricated, because I just spoke to a doctor backstage literally 10 minutes ago, and they said I'm good to go. So I'm like, no, it's fine. These are the real doctors, not the crappy doctors from Alabama, or wherever the fuck we are tonight. Let's pretend we're in Alabama. These are my doctors, you know, the ones that cleared my father to wrestle last year. So you know they're good. And Danny just laughs and goes, well, if they're those doctors, then I question their integrity. And Charlie goes, how dare you question our doctor's integrity, okay? Huh? Listen, I tried to give you an out, okay? But if you want to keep being a little brat, then I guess I'll have to beat you at Starrcade despite you being injured and being unable to compete and embarrass you on the big stage. Jordan goes, that's cool, fine. In fact, why don't we go one step further and make it official next week with a contract signing? Charlotte goes, fine, I'll see you there. So, more chicanery. Charlotte seems to really be trying to get out of wrestling at Starrcade for some reason. Who knows? But then we can come backstage and we see Rhea Ripley watching that segment on the Titans run, just smiling. And Kathy's like, Rhea, you know, you've been on a bit of a tear recently. You know, Tegan Knox, Danny Jordan last week. What's happening now? And because, you know, I won't be surprised if Jordan really isn't cleared for Starrcade, because I have that effect on women, Kathy. But this isn't about Jordan. This is about Charlotte and that championship and my championship that I want back. Okay, Charlotte's been ducking me because she didn't beat me in the Fatal 4-Way at Backlash, and now she's opened this stupid battle royal when only former world champions are banned, and that's what happens to ban me. And then she's jumped from out of nowhere off me by Kylie Ray, and Kylie Ray starts like jumping on Rhea and attacking her. He's like, huh, you put my friend in the hospital, huh? You put my friend in the hospital. Okay, try to do that shit to me. And Rhea's like, fine. How about later on tonight on Heat, I put you in next Nick Tegan in the hospital. She can have a hospital roommate, okay? Get out of my face, you little child. So yeah, Rhea Ripley and Kylie Ray set up for Heat. Just a quick segment to get Rhea on the show, basically. We then see Warden in the back when Rey Mysterio approaches him. And he goes, look, man. And then Warden slams his locker shut and turns to Rey and goes, look, I know I'm probably the last guy you want to see right now. I get it. You know, you beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. But you couldn't beat Dominik and Grayson Waller because of me. And I get that. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry I beat my son every time I've tried to face him before. But last week he did me dirty. And I just want to let you know that, Warden, you know, you remind me a lot of. I'm sure you've got this a lot. You remind me a lot of Dave, and me and Dave, when we teamed together, we even became the tag team champions together. So I thought I could get that sort of connection team with you, but obviously I let you down, and I'm mad about it, and I apologize. Warren goes, you know, obviously I have a hell of a respect for you, and that respect for you is increased now that you've come to apologize on my behalf for losing me my first match here on Raw. But respect doesn't mean adoration. And if you cost me any more matches here on Raw, I won't hold back, Ray. Because you saw what I did to Brock Lesnar. What could I do to a guy like you? Ray's like, yep, I get it. But see you around, big man. I wouldn't just walks past him. 81. Holy shit. Big E and Damon Kemp have a banger, apparently. Damon Kemp does lose, but it's an 81 rated match. That's absolutely nothing to turn your nose up at. But yeah, Big E picks up the win. 9 minutes and 52 seconds. 83 for Big E, 50 for Damon Kemp. Big E men slapping meat. And a big dub for Big E. We then cut backstage. And we're in Johnny Gargano's locker room. He's on the phone. Not even presume it's Candice. We know it's Candice. I was like, I saw your match yesterday. It was a hell of a match. You Tommy girl. She's really good. But I'm proud of you for coming out on top. You're carrying that brand so well. I have Baby Quill's with you right now, and he's watching Daddy on the screen, and he waves at the screen. It's like, okay, well, I gotta go. When someone walks into his locker room, it's like, gotta go. Bye bye. And it's Ciampa. He goes, how's she holding up? I go, she's good. Played through a hell of a match last night. She's really doing well right now, Tommaso. Over on SmackDown without me. Ciampa goes, yeah. I couldn't help but realize that she's doing really well. When last week we got beat by Pretty Deadly in a tag team match. Johnny goes, yeah, I know. It's not been a great start for us here on Raw. Ciampa goes, great start, Johnny. Listen to me. We've been through a lot together, highs and lows. I know you better than anybody. Your head's not in the game, man. Where's Johnny freaking wrestling? And Johnny goes, well, I'm here. I'm here. What else do you want? He goes, you're not here. Johnny Gargano, the man I see in front of me, he's here. He's physically in front of me right now. But I don't see Johnny wrestling. I see Mr. Candice LeRae, Candice LeRae's husband, okay? We weren't on WrestleMania because you were too busy cheerleading for Candice. And I get it. It's a big moment for you and your family. But what about this team, Johnny? Johnny just sort of looks down and he goes, I get it, you're right. But, it's just the overwhelming urge of Candice being the champion on SmackDown and winning the Royal Rumble. She's riding away with momentum right now. You're trying to bum the mood down. Tell myself, I'm not trying to bum the mood. It's just, I think that we, as a tag team, need to be doing a lot more than sheesh, please. And then Johnny's like, well, why don't you shush? This is our locker room. What are you even doing in here? He goes, I was trying to train, in my mental state, doing my yoga. Because I'm the Intercontinental Champion, I need to get in the zone. Don't get a 4.0 GPA, thank you, just by not doing any sort of preparation. And I couldn't do it, overhearing the ruckus that you two are coming from. Listen, Johnny, you're right. Tommaso's right. You're a loser. You're too busy worrying about what your wife's doing than actually focusing on your own career here on Raw. But Tommaso, you're also wrong, and Johnny's right, because you are Johnny Gargano's tag team partner. You've got nothing to show for your own career on here on Raw at all, have you? In fact, the only thing you've ever won is a tag team title with Johnny. At least Johnny's won the Intercontinental Championship twice, but never again, because it's never leaving my side. Thank you. And then Johnny goes, well, you're running your mouth a lot, Chad. And me and Tommaso, we need a tag team match, to prove that we're still the top team here on Raw. So how about you and your big boy here against DIY tonight? Gable goes, well, I would hate to be the nail in the coffin of the great tag team DIY, but who am I kidding? I'd love to be that guy. Thank you for the opportunity, Johnny. I'll see you out there. And again, Aleister Black, another vignette. This one's more fight based. He's probably in a dark dojo or something, kicking a heavy bag. To show a different side of him. We've got the whole spooky, he's Aleister Black, he has riddles and he's dark and edgy. But we want to also showcase that he also has, the kicking, the fighting side. Sort of like that weird period where The Undertaker wore fucking MMA gloves and was punching people and all that shit. He is spooky, but he's also kicky. Speaking of spooky, we come back to the Dungeon of Doom, and our heroes are still trapped in there. And then the Dark Fire was outside. He goes, you guys have been stuck in here for a while now. You really not going to make a move? You're really going to sit here and just grovel, accept your defeat? He goes, we'll never accept our defeat. You let us out of here. Unhand us, you heathen. He goes, you know what I said? You guys are puppets for me, so you can either accept, we can either do this the easy way or the hard way, and either you volunteer to join my new Dungeon of Doom, or I add you by force. And Manny's like, you can't force us to do anything. And then Fire's like, can't I? And he walks up to Saray, and Manny's eyes sort of widen. And he sort of like looks at the pendant around her neck. And he grabs the pendant and he like takes it off her neck. It's like, is this what they all want? This is the source of your power, your friendship? Well, it's in my hands now. Come and get it. He like holds it over like a cliff or something, like he's gonna drop it down. And Saray's like, no, give it back. I'll join. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, I need my pendant back. And she opens the door, and then Saray like walks out. Manny goes, no, wait, leave her alone. I'll join too. And then he sort of just chuckles and goes, well, why did I say that was easy? And Dio goes, Manny, what are you doing? He goes, I can't let him take her alone, And Dio goes, but Manny, we need you far. No, if Manny's going, I'm going. Okay, I'll stop him. And it's like, okay, great. You two stay here. You three come with me. And we sort of pan across to Sensei and Carlin just sat in the cage like, what just happened? And Carlin just shrugs his shoulders like, And then you cut back. And he goes, this is the room. And there's like a fountain of water and stuff in the back. And then it's like, this is where my plan comes to fruition. You see, this is where we birth a new army. And I thank you all. I knew it wouldn't be difficult to get you on board. And Dio's like, well, what about Carlin and Sensei? And he laughs. He goes, well, once we're done here, you won't need those. Once you're on my team, they'll be the first two to be eliminated. And on our quest for world domination. And Manny and Dio sort of look at each other all awkwardly. And then they like, there's a fountain. He goes, please, Test, stand over here. And Manny goes, I'll go first. He puts his hand in the fountain. He's like, it's not even hot. Dio goes, what do you mean it's not even hot? It's like, it's not hot. And Dio goes, oh, well, okay. And then he goes, well, doesn't matter if it's hot or not, because this is, and like he opens up a pit, and then they all fall into a hot pit or some shit, and have their souls, I guess, absorbed into the pendant. And we hear the screams as we go back to Khan and Sensei. And Sensei looks around, like, worried. Like, we've got to get out of here. We've got to help them. And Colin's like, well, what are we going to do? And then Sensei just taps Colin on the shoulder. He goes, you know what to do. You're big and strong. Get us out of here. Colin rips the door off the cage or whatever, a la Kane in the Hell in a Cell. And then Sensei and Colin are free. And Sensei just turns to Colin and goes, let's go save our friends. And then they run off. Cliffhanger. What will happen next? Changing everybody's gimmick. A solid anime strongman and average gimmick for Carland. Very good anime hero for Saray. Yeah, nice. But a twist, as 3/5 of our heroes seem to be possessed right now. So the good guys are actually outnumbered for once. How will this all resolve itself? We then cut back to the ring. For an 82? For this? Okay. AJ and Roxy pick up the winner of the Toxic Attraction, 11 minutes 22. AJ pins JC with the sliced bread. 55 for JC, 66 for GG, 77 for Rox, 55, 66, 77, and then 81 for AJ. And yeah, so Mandy Rose made her claim for the Liberty Championship last week, and who knows when that match will take place. We then come back to J Flows. They're like groveling in their defeat when there's a knock on the locker room door. And Maggie's like, ah! She opens the door, and it's Otis and Brooks. And Brooks is like, hey. She's like, go away. Slams the door in their face. And he's like, no, but I want to just apologize for, wish you condolences for your loss tonight. And Mackie opens the door and she's like, why do you care? And Brooks is like, well, because we're friends. And Mackie goes, we're not friends. We don't like you. And Brooks is like, well, hush. Okay. And then Mackie gets to shut the door and goes, wait. What are you doing now? And she's like, nothing. We're going back home. But it's like, going back home? What do you mean going back home? You mean like you're quitting? Mackie just sighs. He goes, no. We need to regain focus. We go back on tour in Japan. And then Brooks like, wait. Mackie's like, what? Can we come? Mackie goes, no. Slams the door in her face. And then Brooks knocks again, but this time Mackie's not stupid enough to open the door again. And it was just like, oh, better luck next time, buddy. And he just sort of pats him on the shoulder and walks off. Brooks stands there shaking his head. Another Wes Lee vignette. I imagine it's like part 2 of the ones we did last week about his family and shit. And yeah, just, you know, they're doing these in real life now, these video packages, and I think they're really good as well. They're a good way just to feature people, try and get people, show people more personality. And Wes Lee had nothing to do on this week's show, so yeah, we'll still run another one of these. In an 80 rated tag team match, Gable and Anthony Ogogo against DIY. DIY actually do pick up the win, though not through the methods that I imagine Gargano and Ciampa had hoped. Because it is a win, but it's because Chad Gable, you know, he's fighting Gargano. Gargano's overwhelmed him, and Gable gets himself disqualified, hits him with a belt or something, and takes the belt and runs away. As Ciampa, like, he feels bad for Johnny, you know, because he's like, he's fired him up, they were going to get this dub, and technically he did, and like, Johnny's been left laying, it's not his own fault, because Chad Gable was being a bitch. And then Gable and Ogogo back up the ramp, he's like, thank you. When behind Chad Gable appears Ridge Holland, and they bump into him. He turns around and Ridge is there with like his little baton thing. He like holds it in Gable's face and points it at him, and Gable slowly backs away back into the ring as Ridge Holland then starts brawling with Anthony Ogogo on the ramp. Gable has to back into the ring. He eats a super kick from Johnny Gargano and then Willow's bell, and then Gargano locks him in the Gargano escape, and Chad Gable taps, and then Gargano looks at the IC title on the floor. He looks back at Ciampa, and then he looks at Ridge Holland confused, and Ridge is already gone. Like, by the time they look at Ridge Holland, he's already walking to the back, having left Anthony Ogogo laying. From that, we get Kathy Kelly again, and she's with Dudley. And Kathy goes, you know, Dudley, you know, WrestleMania wasn't your night, and now you're here on Raw, no Pete, no Ilya. So, what's the Dudley Davis story looking like now? It's like, you know, Pete won that championship fair and square, and what happened to him with Carmelo Hayes was bit bullshit, but that's not for me to probably now. Pete's going to sort him out one way or another. But as for me, this is Raw, this is the Dudley Davis show, and next week I'm back in that ring and doing what I do best, being one of the best wrestlers here on Raw. And then he's like, and speaking of the best wrestlers here on Raw, and he's approached by Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. And Kyle sort of like starts all he is, so next week it's me and you, huh? Your first singles match here back on Raw as a Raw superstar. You know, I've seen a lot of you, I've been watching you from afar. WrestleMania, you could have come up and won the World Heavyweight Championship. It wasn't your night. Next week's not going to be your night either, but Hell, I do respect the hell out of you. You are a great competitor. It's like, thank you. May the best man win. And then him and Kyle O'Reilly shake hands ahead of their match next week. That should be a banger. I was going to do Roddy, then I remember that Roddy's declining and shit in this game and Kyle's the good one, so I did Kyle instead. Then we see Ridge Holland walking through the hallway when he's approached by DIY. Johnny goes, Ridge, hi, what was all that about, Can we help you? And he goes, not really. He goes, you may be so selfish to think that everything that you see is about you, but it ain't. I've got my own beef with Gale and Ogogo. And for now, you can not be an issue to us. But if you decide to step closer to that Intercontinental Championship, you will become a problem. And then he walks away. Johnny goes, well, consider me a problem, because I want a title match next week against Gable. 85. We take those. We absolutely take those. So not a good night for Tez and Bianca. Because Ichiban's, Shinsuke Nakamura and Aoi Makao pick up the win. Tez is still not 100% after wrestling Gunter last week. And he gets clocked with a Kinshasa. The not 100% Montez Ford gets clocked with a Kinshasa and pinned. 1, 2, 3. Bianca, I imagine, is probably on top of Aoi most of the match, but, she didn't get pinned here, so it's fine. 67 for Aoi, 86 for Shinsuke, 89 for Bianca, and a 78 for Montez Ford. And yeah, Shinsuke and Aoi celebrate their win, and Tez, pulls himself out to his feet again. Because beaten, down, and not out, that Montez Ford. We then see Cody again. We come back to the American Nightmare, he's leaving. When he's approached by Adam Cole, Cody, wait. Look. Okay. I'm not stupid, okay, Cody, I understand that, there's a bit of friction here. You think that I'm being disingenuous with you. And I get it. After some reflection, I get it, why you wouldn't believe me, because, I'm not exactly being around you for that long now. I just sort of popped up last week. But I've got an idea to prove my loyalty to this team, to War Games. Next week, put me in the match. Put me in the match to determine the team advantage, and I'll come out on top against whoever Jeff Jarrett sticks in there, and I'll win us that advantage, and I'll win us War Games. Cody just sort of chuckles. He's like, I was nominating myself to be in that match next week, but if you want it so bad, Adam, go right ahead. And then Cody sort of walks off. Back, he climbs into the American Nightmare bus. And as Adam Cole's like, fine, I'll do it. I'll win it for us. We're getting the advantage, Cody. We're getting it. Starrcade, here we come. And then after that segment, it's official. It's officially announced that next week we will have the War Games Advantage singles match. When Adam Cole Bay of Team Cody Rhodes faces Baron Corbin of Planet Jarrett to determine the team that will have the advantage heading into War Games. And then we also heard just earlier on tonight a singles match. Dudley Davis makes his in-ring return to Raw when he takes on Kyle O'Reilly in singles action. And then we have, coming up next is our main event between Ricochet and Zergus the Mighty, but next week we've got the inverse. We've got Path of the Dragons, small high flyer Humberto Carrillo taking on the big boy of Cyclone, Bronson Reed. And after his weird backstage call out of Chad Gable, Batista has made official next week Intercontinental Championship gold will be on the line as Johnny Gargano and Chad Gable go one-on-one for the title. But that's not all. It'll take place next week because we heard from Titus World Records that the Titus World Record Factor will take place next week as they look to audition and find their newest member of Titus World Records. And the contract signing for the Raw Women's Championship match at Starrcade will be made official. Danny Jordan and the Queen, the Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, same ring, same time, signing the contract for their match at Starrcade. Speaking of Starrcade, no new matches announced for the show tonight, but we do have this, the official finalized War Games graphic. Planet Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, Baron Corbin, Cameron Grimes, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson will take on Team Cody Rhodes, featuring the WWE Champion himself, the American Nightmare, Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Adam Cole, baby. 86 rated main event. Yeah, I knew there was a reason I put this in the main event spot. Even with a lack of psychology, it was fine. But I do want to really hammer home this tag title match as generally one of the main events of Starrcade. So, like, putting this match in the main event makes the most sense. Because Bronson Reed and Humberto won't be the main event next week. That'll be the War Games qualifying match. But yeah, Ricochet picks up the win. He beats Zergus the Mighty in 14 minutes and 34 with a 6:30. 93 for Ricochet, 75 for Zergus. And that's a huge win for Ricochet. And giving the Cyclone the upper hand heading into Starrcade. And that ends Raw, a show which gets us a 90. Yeah, it's a good episode of Raw, you know. A lot of storyline advancements, a lot of build towards Starrcade and beyond. Because beyond Starrcade is Money in the Bank. And yeah, but beyond Raw is Heat, which has Rhea Ripley against Kylie Ray, among other things. So we'll see you on the other side. We kick off with actually a pretty good episode of Heat with a banger. Rhea Ripley and Kylie Ray. Rhea Ripley wins 10 minutes 57. Soul Food, Riptide, whatever. 86 for Rhea, 59 for Kylie, and she locks her in the submission hold as well after the match. Just like Tegan, you know, Tegan's out right now because her knee got fucked up by Rhea Ripley in their match, and Kylie Ray is now apparently also on the shelf because of this brutal assault by the Nightmare, the Eradicator. So, yeah, it's both smile and shine, you know, could probably gonna regret stepping to Mommy. We then get a 6-7 rated tag team match, which features Ariana Grace and Ava Raine, so it's actually not that bad. But yeah, but I need to give them a win, because they haven't really been wrestling much. So they beat Yoko Miko here, 11 minutes. Ava Raine pins Kamiko. 39 for Ariana, 51 for Ava, 52 for Kamiko, and a 76 for Yoko. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Yeah, a nice win for the Royal Dynasty, though. Oh, that's disappointing. They don't click at all. I thought this was going to be a banger, so that really has let me down. Mako Satomura against Naomi. It goes 13 minutes and 48 seconds. Mako picks up the victory with a frog splash. 39 for Mako, 58 for Naomi. And yeah, just a big win for Mako because she didn't wrestle last week. Which, speaking of, after the match, both Aoi and Mako take the mic and just start shouting angrily in Japanese. And they start screaming and shouting and screaming and shouting in Japanese. And then Tatum and Ivy come out. And they're like, chill, okay? Right. So, you know, we don't really speak Japanese that well. But from the gist of it and from your general appearance and your general attitude right now, you're not very happy about, you know, last week. And the travel situation, how you think that you should have got a tag team championship opportunity. And you're right, you know. If we are the women's tag team champions and we won last week by pinning Alexa, you know, something we've done a lot, but someone who shouldn't even have been in the match. So if you want to prove that we are the best tag team here, we should probably face you guys and give you the fair title match that you deserve. And Mako, you obviously been around the world, been in many places, been to WCW in fact. So how about, fittingly, at Starrcade, me and Ivy against you two for our women's tag team championships. And Mako takes something like, oh, we accept. So there we go. Mako Satomura back on quote-unquote WCW soil at Starrcade when her and Aoi Maikawa try and win the women's tag team championships they believe they were robbed of. And they face Tatum Paxley and Ivy Nile. The main event's probably going to do shit. 43, yeah. The matches gradually got worse as the show went on. But again, this is the problem with doing Nexus-like angles in TEW, is that they're not important ever. And they tank your ratings like this, but it's fine, you got to persevere. That's what I'm doing on a B show. Specifically, that's the reason why it's happening on a B show and not on Raw, because it's tanking my ratings. But Nene does pick up the win over Fallon Henley for Next Gen with the winning kick. 36 for Nene Erizawa, 42 for Fallon Henley. And after the match, Kathy Cool is going to take a mic and Tracy Sharon and all them. Like, you know, since we came here to Heat, we've left nothing but dominance in our wake. You know, the whole women's division fears next gen, and they fear the next gen taking over and leaving the old guard in the past, quite frankly, where they belong, and moving forward to the next generation, the future. Girls like me, like Tracy, like Lucy, like Samantha, like Nene. Okay, and Lita is one of those girls. We taught Lita a lesson our first night here on Heat, but now Lita wants to come back up and cost us our chance at becoming the women's tag team champions, and I'm not gonna sit there and let that fly. Lita, get your bitch ass out here. Out comes Lita. But Lita doesn't come out alone, because she comes out with Trish. And she's like, girls, you know, obviously, as the old guard, as the veterans here in WWE, we love to see the next generation thriving. That's why we're so happy to see you girls thriving here on Heat. But, you know, someone's got to knock you down a peg or two. You're dealing with Hall of Famers here. And taking out me and Trish, that ain't gonna fly. I see 5 of you and 2 of us. I see you think we're outnumbered, but it's fine. Because coming up next Saturday is Starrcade, and I hear our little birdie told me that War Games is happening, and the men are getting a War Games match at Starrcade. While I say, why just stop at the men? Why can't the girls get in on this action? Why don't me and Trish find 3 other, as you'd call us, has-beens, and really put this new generation, teach them a hard dose of reality, custody of the old veteran Hall of Famer way. And Gabby's like, well, if you can find 3 washed-up has-beens that can still walk, fine, we'll take you on at Starrcade, War Games. And then Lita and Trish are like, well, you know, we found 1. Out comes Beth. And Beth stands probably in the middle of Trish and Lita. And they just stand. They probably wouldn't get in the ring, actually, because they're outnumbered and they're smart. And they do respect that they'd get their ass kicked because they are old and these are young. But, you know, the arrival of Beth is shocking. Because maybe it won't be so hard as they make it seem to find 2 more Hall of Famers who'll want to team with them in this War Games match. There we go. 53 rated overall show. Beh. It's fine. Again, literally got worse as the show went on. But it's fine. It's Heat. I like the show because it actually advanced 2 stories. And Heat normally doesn't advance any. Or technically 3 because Rhea. Yeah, Heat doesn't normally advance any. So that's progress. What matters more is what you thought of the show. Mainly of Raw. But if you thought Heat was good. Because Heat was actually kind of good this week. Do let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you next time for SmackDown. With the fallout from Judgment Day and no Tribal Chief. See you then.